Hello guys, in this video we're going to cover how to actually start a clothing brand. As you know, a lot of videos are showing you sort of like the good size of starting a clothing brand and they're not giving you the full picture. So in this video, I'm going to go through everything that is needed to start a clothing brand and scale a clothing brand and actually get you to the numbers that you want to achieve, where you can quit your 9 to 5, where you can actually live a life that's actually going to be luxurious and snazzy and actually going to be cool. But you need to watch this video to the end, right? If you have the attention span of a goldfish and you're like this type of person who's not really able to watch a video for half an hour and actually taking a lot of value, right? And you keep on switching from one video to another, this is not going to work for you. And you might as well click off right now, because this I can tell you right now that you're going to fail in business and you'll still be a nobody and pretty much a freaking loser. So make sure you click off this video if you're that type of person. You're nobody. You're pretty much somebody who's not able to watch a video for 5 seconds because you have the attention span of a goldfish. So go ahead, go watch whatever you need to watch, whether that you need to go to X-Trade website or you need to do something else like watch Taylor Swift or something. But this video is for real business owners who actually want to start a business and scale it to 5, 6, 7 figures and actually achieve their dreams and actually live a life that they want to live. So make sure you click off now if you don't like flashy anime, if you don't like raw videos where I actually go into a lot of value and I'm not trying to entertain you, right? So hopefully you've gone, and the ones that are still here, watch the end. So in terms of what results you can expect with this type of strategy and what you can expect when starting a fashion brand, these are the type of results, right? You can achieve $385,000 in a single month, right, in a 30-day period. And you can see here that these are real results, right? This is not some BS. Like, you can see my name here, right? You can see my old agency name. And this is what I've been able to achieve for brands. Pretty much being able to scale them, and I know exactly what works. I know what doesn't work. Here we scale it to $64,000 in a single month as well. Again, you can see my name is included in the dashboard. And you can see another one here, $70,000 generated in a single month as well. And this brand pretty much started from scratch like you have. And this is something that I know what works and what doesn't work. And I see a lot of people just struggling out there. They're not barely making any sales, or they don't know where to start. So if you don't know where to start and you're not making any sales, then this video is for you, right? So who am I? So I'm pretty much a consultant. I've been consulting brands for the past 4 to 5 years now. And I've seen a lot of stuff that's happened over the years with brands trying to start out, whether in the fashion space or clothing brands, or maybe they're skincare brands, healthcare brands, whatever it may be. I've seen what works, what doesn't work. And I've been able to work with some of the biggest brands in the world. I've worked with smaller brands who just have limited budget. They don't know what to do with themselves. And they really need a strategy in order to get them to the high levels they want to get to. So this is what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So I have an Instagram profile while I go into a lot of value regarding how to scale a brand from scratch. And whether you have a small brand, this is the way in order to achieve those levels. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can DM me as well. And I have a program where I work with you one-on-one. If you're interested in potentially working with me one-on-one, then you can DM me there and we can pretty much go from there. But yeah, in terms of further results, like for this brand, we generated £187,000 with a £13,000 ad spend and with a 14x ROI. So this is just with ads alone. And, the sky is the limit once you know what you're doing. But I'm going to go into exactly what you need to have in order to start and scale a fashion brand, particularly, or a clothing brand as well, so that you can get to these type of numbers, right? Because you're not just going to wake up in the morning and expect to get these numbers out of thin air. No, you need to put in the work, okay? You need to know what you're doing, which is very hard to do because you're just starting out, you have no knowledge, and, it's quite a competitive environment. So you need to know exactly what you need to do. So what do you need to do to get to this level? Okay. So you need to have training and coaching, right? Whether or not you will got trained already, all right, or maybe you have a marketing degree and so on, which I'll go into. I will show you what you need to be doing in order to get the knowledge that you need in order to build a brand that is this size. Because if you read the book Atomic Habits, they say that you need to become the person who can achieve the $100,000 in a month, right? That's the only way you're going to achieve your goal, is becoming the person who can achieve that goal, right? You have to become that person first. So you need to understand that you need to have training and coaching. You need to learn from the best. Business plan, that's what you need to have as well. Brand identity, you need to have creative concepts, you need to have the manufacturers as well, and then finally you need to have the marketing, right? So all of this I cover in this video, so watch to the end and you'll gain a ton of value and know exactly what you need to do in order to get to this level. Okay, where you're generating £187,000 in a single month, okay, and 70,000, 64,000, $385,000 in a single month. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to have training and coaching, right? So with regards to training, it's as simple as just watching YouTube videos. Okay, you don't have to watch my YouTube videos. You can watch other people's YouTube videos where you can gain insights into what you need to have in order to grow a brand. But you need to be careful because a lot of videos out there are misleading. They don't provide all the information, and they don't give you the caveats on all the bad things that can happen when you're running a clothing or fashion brand. So you need to be very careful, and you need to be careful who you're listening to, right? But it's as simple as a simple YouTube search. You could just find quite a few of them, right, who are able to give you information on how to start a fashion brand. For example, Virgil, who is pretty much, or was pretty much, the men's fashion creative director of Louis Vuitton. He has a lot of insight onto how to start a clothing brand, right? So there's loads of different videos that you can go ahead and watch, right? You don't have to watch my own, but you will be able to gain the knowledge that you need in order to scale your brand and know exactly what it takes. Okay, so I highly recommend that you do that before you go into the next step. Second, you need to have a business plan, right? So when it comes to business plan, this is sort of like going to be a document where you're going to have information on how the business is going to run, what you're planning to do with it, and where you plan to move it forward, right? And this will work very well for you. Now, you may think this is quite boring and that you don't need it, but in reality, you do need to have a plan, okay? You need to know exactly what you need to be doing. And as a result, you will be able to get to the numbers you want to get to because you have exact all the stages that you need to go through. If you don't have a plan, what's going to happen is you're going to start just spraying from the hip. You're going to be just doing anything you like, and you're not going to be tracking anything, and you're not going to have any targets as well, right? So you need to have a business plan, because I've seen brands who say, oh, I just want to make sales, but that's not enough. You need to know exactly how many sales you want to make, how much you're going to spend to make those sales, and what your brand is going to be in particular, and how you're going to resonate with your target market. So firstly, you need to have an executive summary. This is basically like a mission statement going over just what your brand is about and more or less what you plan to achieve with your brand. And this is going to help you to have an understanding of what your brand mission is and the direction you want to go in. Then you want to have a business overview. Now, the business overview is very important because it ties into sort of what the brand is going to be and gives you an idea of all the values that is encompassing it, right? And in terms of market analysis, which is the next thing you need to have inside of your business plan, you need to have a very good understanding of who you're trying to target, because the fashion space and the clothing space is very competitive. So if you don't have an idea of who you're going to target, right, and what your market is, then you're going to be speaking to nobody because you're trying to target everybody, and nobody's going to resonate with your brand. So you need to know your competitors, for example, right? And you need to know what they're doing. So let's say you're in the clothing space. I would not say that Supreme is your competitor, even though they are, indirectly, but they are at a larger scale. But you want to look at what your other competitors are doing, for example, the smaller brands which are just starting out, and see what they're doing and completely make sure that you're not doing that, basically. You need to have the competition influence, okay? Customer mix. You need to have the market segments, market size. What is the market size of the sub-market you're trying to go for? For example, those that like Y2K fashion, there will be a smaller pool of people than it would be than if it was mainstream fashion, right? You need to know the market share as well as the spending group. So all of these different things you need to take into account when you are creating a business plan and when you're analyzing the market. Okay. Next thing you need to consider is the customer segmentation. Okay. What does this mean? This means all the different factors that contribute to your target market and basically give you an idea of who they are and how they behave, and gives you a very good description and summary of who these people you're targeting are, right? Because you need to know exactly who they are so that you can provide a solution to them. Okay. So you have the demographic. Okay. You have geographic, which means where they're located, right? The demographic is, oh, what type of person are they? Okay. Their age, their gender, and other factors like socioeconomic as well. Behavioral, what do they like? What do they dislike? What do they like about products that are in your industry? What do they dislike? What do they fear? What do they absolutely adore? Right? You need to have a very good idea of this. Okay. Value based. Okay. So what do they value? What do they not value? Life cycle stage, right? Because what this means is that some people in your target market are different buying cycles. Okay. Some people have already bought a product and they're not in the market to buy another one. There are some that are looking for products to buy, for example, new clothing because of the new season, for example. So there are people in different stages. So you need to have an understanding of who you're going to be targeting and what stage you're going to be in. You got psychographic. Okay. So what is their type of personality? And this kind of ties in with behavioral. You got technographic, and then you've got needs based. Okay. So you got all these different customer segmentations that you need to account for. And this is going to help you to be able to understand who your target customer is. Okay. Next, you have the marketing plan. Now, the marketing plan essentially covers all the different things that is going to be constituting of your marketing. So, for example, you're going to have the strategy for the marketing. So, how are you going to be promoting your products once you have them come to market? And what are the branding guidelines that you're going to have? Publicity, is it going to be direct marketing involved? Sale promotion, what's the strategy regarding promotions, right? And in terms of the pricing, you need to have all of this accounted for. Okay, so that's what you cover in the marketing plan. In terms of the logistics and operation plan, which is the next step, you need to have an understanding of the suppliers that you're going to be using, inventory, shipping and fulfillment. Okay, how you're going to ship your items to the customer and have it fulfilled once they buy, and as well as production. Okay, which is tied with your suppliers, or maybe you're making the products yourself, right? You need to have a good understanding of what the plan is for that, because once you start getting sales, you're going to have to understand what happens if you start to get too many sales, right? Are you going to be able to cope with that? And if not, then this is going to mean the downfall of your business. Okay. And then after that, we finally go over the financial plan. Okay. So this is basically a plan where you're going to be going over the finances. And again, you want to understand how money is going to be coming in and where money is going to be coming out from. Okay. So you need to assess your financial situation. That's the first step. Second step is to create a budget. Okay. So you want to create a budget for ads, inventory, marketing in general, and so on and so forth, employees, if you have them. So you need to account for that. You need to set your financial goals. So your goals regarding a revenue, for example, and profits. You need to know your risk tolerance. How much are you willing to spend to acquire a customer? How much are you willing to invest in your brand? Okay. And not expect a lot of money to be coming back. So you need to have an understanding of that. Number 5, work out and implement your financial plan. Okay. And then number 6, regularly review your financial plan. So once you've done that, you go ahead and assess your financial situation again. So it becomes a vicious cycle, which will help you to essentially have the cash flow that's needed to grow your brand. So that's very important. So that covers the first part of the business plan. So you need to have that already. You need to get that going after you've had training and coaching. Once you understand exactly what you need to be doing in order to get to the levels you need to get to. Okay. So if you want a template of that and all of this, right, you can DM me on Instagram for it, and I'll provide a document for you where you can go ahead and just put all this information in so it's easy as possible for you. Because obviously, if you do this by yourself, it's going to take a lot of work, and probably won't know what you need to be doing. So if you want this business plan template where it covers all of this, then you can DM me on Instagram for it. Right? So the next step after the business plan is to have a brand identity, okay, for your brand. So this composes of 4 components, right? So they have the visual identity, okay? What does this mean? It means that you have essentially, you're going to have an ability to understand your audience, okay? You're going to define your brand's purpose. You want to use storytelling to evoke emotions, and you want to define your platforms and the design demands, okay? So you have an understanding of all of this, okay? And this can include your logo, the brand image, right? And with this, you're going to create a visual identity that's going to resonate with your target market. All right, that's why you need to know your audience so that you can tailor your visual identity to that. Okay, you need to know your brand's purpose, which you would have covered in your business plan. So after that, you'll be able to know exactly what you need to be showing to your target market and whether that fits with your brand purpose as well. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. You have something which is going to appeal to your target market, but it appeals to you as well and your brand. And then you have your storytelling, which is very important. Okay, you want to use that in images, videos. Use stories and videos, especially. I highly recommend. And combine all of this together, you have a visual identity. And a way to create a visual identity is to create mood boards, right? So what we do in the fashion space is we create mood boards, whether that's also a beauty brand, skincare brand, whatever. Most brands have a mood board where they're able to understand what their brand will look like, the brand image, the visual identity it will have. So a very good place that you can go to do this is Pinterest. And Pinterest essentially gives you a lot of different ideas, and you can just type in some related terms. In the fashion space, for example, you can say, oh, I want to look for something edgy fashion, right? And it will come with all these different images, which you can go ahead and then you can use Canva to create your own mood board. And then you're essentially creating your own visual identity for your own brand, which should be very exciting to you because now your brand is coming to life. Okay, you did your business plan, you did your coaching, right? And now you're creating a visual identity for your own brand. Okay, so use Pinterest and then use Canva to create your visual mood board, okay, and your visual identity. For example, as you can see here, Cult Gia, okay, they managed to build an incredible brand identity, right? It's very modern, but also very futuristic at the same time as well. Very clean cut, and is very, exciting to see that they actually implemented on their own mood board. And as a result, they've been able to grow to over 1 million followers. And that's what's really getting them the edge, right? Because they have a very distinct brand identity, very distinct visual identity as well. Now, the next thing you want to consider, okay, when you're creating your own fashion or clothing brand and you just started out, is a brand tone of voice, right? So this involves having an understanding of how you want to communicate your brand to your target market. And there's different ways you can do this, right? And not every way is the same. So for example, you can have an innocent tone of voice. So you can have one where it is trying to encourage trust and honesty, purity, so on and so forth, which is very good for like skincare brands, for example. You can have one that is explorer, independence, bravery, non-conformity, self-sufficiency. Again, this is where if you want to empower your target market and you want to communicate that and attract those type of people, you got hero type of brand of voice, which is like self-sacrifice, courage, redemption, strength, so on and so forth. Again, sort of giving a masculine vibe to your brand. And there's so many others here as well, which you can go ahead and view. But this is basically how you're going to create your own tone of voice as well. And then you can use ChatGPT in order to help you create that brand tone of voice based on this information, right? So you can see here that Coachella, they have their own tone of voice, right, for their brand. You can see it's very elegant. It's really feminine tones as well. So this is what they've gone ahead and done, and it's worked wonders for them, and it's really captivated their target market, right? Next, after you've done the brand tone of voice, you want to have the brand story, right? So this encompasses having an understanding of the emotions you want to evoke in your target market. You want to understand why the brand exists, okay, which you would have covered in the business plan, but you want to elaborate on it here. You want to have it consistent across all your platforms, all your media assets. You want to have lessons from failures, okay? You can incorporate that into why the brand exists, right? And then you can use data-driven approach, right? Which means that you can use information from your target customers to help you develop the brand story as well. So all of this can help you to create the brand story. And several questions that you can ask when you're trying to create your brand story is, what, the only category, right? What does that mean? The only motorcycle manufacturers is in the example of Harley Davidson, right? You can ask how, who, where, why, when, right? All of these different questions you can ask, okay? And you can pretty much go ahead and copy this. You can say, okay, in Harley Davidson's case, that makes big, loud motorcycles. Who is it for? It's for macho guys, and macho wannabes. Where is it located? Mostly United States. Why? Who needed state, right? Who want to join a gang of cowboys? So it goes on, right? And you can create a brand identity. You can create a brand story based on this, okay? And that's why Harley Davidson stands out from their competitors. And the same thing is true with Code Geass. They've got their own brand story here, right? Where they are really trying to go for utility. They want to have sculptural quality. And that's what's making them stand out from the other brands who don't really have much of a strong brand story, okay? Because they're inspired by nature and women as well. So that's really what's helping them stand out and how making them millions and millions of dollars, right? Quite comfortably. Then you want to go ahead and have your core values. So you want to make sure that you're including some values that help your brand stand out even more and make you stand for something, right? Whether that's responsibility, make sure you have best customer service, whether it's ethics, innovation, trust, goals, teamwork, all these different things can contribute to you having core values. So you want to list this down as well. And this is what's going to help you get to have a very good brand that's, has integrity and makes you stand out and actually makes people like you because you have all of this values, which is strong, and it's what's going to captivate them and say, oh, this brand has a lot of integrity. I respect the brand and I'm going to buy from it as a result. Next thing you want to have is a brand book. So a brand book is essentially a book where you have all this information included, whether that's the core values, the brand story, you have the brand tone of voice, you have also the visual identity as well. And all of this combined is going to be put in the book, which you can create in Canva, by the way. There's templates for that in Canva. But you can also have graphic designers which help you out. You can just pretty much go on Upwork and look for graphic designers, and you get a quite talented ones which can help you out with that. So you don't have to do this by yourself, but you need to have an idea of what you need to be pretty much creating from that. So that's more or less what we call the brand identity, right? So you've now gone ahead and done the training and coaching. You've got the business plan, so you have an understanding what your brand is, who you're trying to target, so on and so forth. You have the brand identity as well now. So you have the visual identity, the brand book, you have the brand tone of voice, so you know what your brand stands for. Okay, that's what the problem is. A lot of brands, whether it's in fashion, clothing, or health and beauty space, they try to just go straight to market, just make a product, right? They get a product from AliExpress, or they copy whatever they see on TikTok, right? Or Instagram, and then they go ahead and just copy them. They get a supplier, they probably get a supplier from Pakistan or India or China, and they just put a logo on their product or some design, which you haven't thought about really. And then they go ahead and they just try to do a launch, so-called launch. Then they get no sales, and then they go ahead and quit it. So that's, you want to avoid doing that. You need to do this properly and thoroughly so that you can actually build a brand like Cult Geass, who are now pretty much one of the biggest brands in the industry. And that's really what you need to be doing. And you just basically going through all of these steps, right? Now, after you've done that, you want to go ahead and have creative concepts, right? So a book that I recommend that you go ahead and read is called A Technique for Producing Ideas by William Bernbach. And this is going to be a book which could help you to create unique ideas that's going to give you inspiration for creatives, okay? And this book has personally helped me and allowed me to come up with ideas that are outside the box, which is quite advantageous. So I recommend that you read this book, and this is going to give you sort of ideas that's going to make you creative and have a sort of way of create a brand that stands out, right? So again, you can also use Pinterest, right? Pinterest is your friend if you're any brand, because they're going to help you create your visual identity as well as create creative concepts as well. So you can see here that you can pretty much go ahead and type in sort of inspiration in here. I've typed in edgy fashion again, and it came up with all these different types of creatives. And you want to build, again, a mood board based on this for your creative concepts. Okay. Now, after that, now this is more related to brands that is more seasonal, but you want to take into account seasonalities and trends, right? And this is what is going to keep you ahead of the competition as well, because you have your hand on the pulse and you know exactly what you need to be doing, right? When it comes to a trend or new season. Okay. Now, obviously, as you know, there are different seasons. So you have your autumn, winter, and then you have your spring, summer. Okay. And depending on the season, right, this is influenced by trends outside of fashion, or it could be related to adjacent industries like music, right, art, so on and so forth. So you need to have an understanding of all these different areas so that you can catch on trends quite early or before they happen. And as a result, you'll be pretty much the first mover and make a ton of money, right? So how do you do that? Well, you want to go ahead and look at articles. You want to make sure that you're pretty much keeping up with culture, right, in different areas, whether that's music, art, fashion, right? And that's going to help you to understand what's coming into trend before it actually happens, or while it's happening in the beginning, so that you're keeping on trend and you'll have an advantage over your competitors, right, who are not doing that. So you have seasonless fashion brands, right, which is pretty much a new trend recently. And this is basically a situation where brands are trying to stop making clothes every season because it's impacting the environment in a negative way. So they've gone ahead and said, oh, we don't want to do that. Now, Gucci is one example of this, where they've gone ahead and done that. And they've obviously benefited from that, and that's what's made them a lot more popular than they were previously. And while other brands have been slow to catch on to that trend, right? And obviously, you want to have a sort of promotional calendar in advance as well. So you need to have an understanding of what products you'll be releasing, okay, a year in advance, right? The later you can do it, the better, right? Or the earlier you can do it, the better. And so you have everything in advance. So by the time it comes, you're already ready and you are able to move very fast and actually have sort of a way of making sales quite quickly, and you are very agile. So you want to go ahead and create a calendar, and that's going to help you to create products and come up with new ideas as well. So now that you've understood creative concepts, seasonalities, and trends, right? Now you can move on to manufacturers. Now, this is where you're going to want to try the manufacturer so they can produce your products after you've understood the trends, well, after you understand the creative concepts, after you've understood the brand identity that's going to be incorporated into it, as well as the business plan, and you've had training and coaching on fashion or your related industry, right? So after you've done that, you can now go ahead and start with manufacturers. Now, if you're creating a unique product or you want to have unique designs, then I recommend that you create sketches, okay, based on how you want your product to look. And this is going to allow you to essentially bring your own ideas to life, and it's going to be provided to the manufacturers so they know what they need to create, okay? Or what you could do is get a designer to help you out with this. Again, you can get this from Upwork, and that's going to be sort of the place you want to go. If you need to hire people, okay, and you're not able to do that yourself, okay, but I highly recommend that you do the sketches yourself. And after you've done that, okay, and you're trying to create a unique design, you want to have your specifications, okay? So you need to have your specs, your specifications, and you want to know the dimensions. You need to know all this information, how you want it to look, so on and so forth, so that you can provide this to the manufacturer who can help you out and create the product for you, okay? So after you've done that, now you can go ahead and get a fit model, for example, to try on the clothing after you have, create a prototype, right? Because this is what this is called, pretty much a prototype. And this is obviously optional, okay? You don't have to have a model to try on the clothing, right, of your prototype if you're making it yourself. But obviously it'd be advantageous for you to have that and quite, convenient, but it's not compulsory. And then you want to obviously contact your directories and suppliers. Some major directories include Makers Row and Compass, and suppliers can also be found on Alibaba, which is quite popular. And to do so on Alibaba, you can pretty much just go there and type in the products that you're looking for. For example, hoodies. Okay, there's loads of hoodies that you can go ahead and find that's actually high quality and inexpensive relatively. And that's going to allow you to work with manufacturers and produce your designs, right? Whatever it may be. And obviously, you can go ahead and contact them. Obviously, you want to make sure you vet them, which you can do above here, for example. They're verified. They've been in business for 2 years, and they offer ODM services, right? So you want to go ahead and chat now with them. And then after you have a conversation with them, you can begin negotiating prices and sort of the minimum order quantities, such as how much of the product can they produce, right, in one go, the minimum amount they can do that for. And that's going to allow you to create your products and try samples and then begin to do bulk orders, which I say should come later on, and you should focus on having small batches orders first, so you're not taking on too much risk. So that's what you want to do when it comes to manufacturers. So after you've done the manufacturing and the production and you're happy with your product, okay, or your products or your collection, now you can go ahead to sell it online, okay? And this is the exciting part, because now you can begin to make money. You now have a product, you now have a brand, and you understand what it takes to now sell online. That your product is probably better than 99% of your competitors, and now you can go ahead and start promoting and making cash. So the first place you want to go is obviously Shopify. Now, Shopify, I recommend, is the best platform, has most features, and has sort of the most street cred compared to the other platforms, right? But if you're using other platforms like Magento, right, it's not the end of the world. They're still good platforms, but usually Shopify has the most integrations, most accessibility, and best functionality, right? So you want to go ahead and create a Shopify account, okay? Very simple to do. Again, you can look at tutorials for how to create a Shopify account. It's just a few clicks. Once you've done that, you need to set up all your settings, right? You need to have all of this information. So the online store, you can pretty much create the store, which I go into. And you want to have the apps, right? And then you can begin to add products, right? So you can add your products. Again, very simple. Just add the description. You have the title. You have the vendor, which will be your brand name. And you can add it to collections as well on your website, okay? And you add the images. And then after that, you will be able to create your website, okay? Now, obviously, you want to make sure it actually looks very professional. It's really communicating the brand in its best light. And for example, Trapstar have done this very well, where they've gone ahead and have very good photography. They have very good videography. They have all the apps installed that they need, like the cookie bar. They have a live chat. They have all these different features, right? They have the brand logo. They have the collections at the top, right? They add the cart basket here, a wish list, all these different things is included. And that's what is going to help it to convert quite well. But obviously you have the products as well, which is what the people are buying. The target market is not buying the website, they're buying the products that are listed on the website. So as you can see on the collection page, Trapstar have it listed very well. It's very clear cut on a white background, which actually helps to increase conversions, right? The homepage, they have the photography there, right? Which is what you want. And then on the product page, you have the product again, on a white background. You have the sort of offer listed out quite comfortably and clearly. You have the sizes, you have the add to cart button, which stands out from the background, and you have all of this, which helps to make it very clear for the target market, the visitor, to go ahead and try and purchase. And also they included the description, delivery and returns, site chart, which is obviously very important for fashion brands. You need to make sure that it's quite clear so they understand what the size they need, because it could be from a different country. There could be size differences, which they need to account for, right? They may want the size bigger, it may fit small, etc. You need to take all this into account. And also you have the help button as well, so that you can get extra help. But also you have, you may also like, which is quite common nowadays, where you can show extra products, so you can upsell them and they can add more products to the basket, which means you make more money, right? So that's pretty much the website part, where you can begin selling online. Okay. Now, finally, you have the marketing. Now, the marketing is essentially going to be pretty much the part where you actually start to see return on your investment, and all the hard work you've done prior is now coming to fruition, right? Now you can begin making ads. As you can see, Alo Yoga have done very professional ads, which is showing the product in its best light and is convincing the visitor or the viewer of the ad to buy. Okay. Same thing with Coconut, health and beauty brand. They've gone ahead and created their ad copies, which you can go ahead and create. You can get an influencer to do that for you, which I'll cover in a bit. And you want to be running meta ads. So these are meta ads, Facebook ads, and that's quite reliable. I have many other videos on this right on my channel, which you can go ahead and view after this one. And it's basically just a case of running it properly, right? You need to know the strategies, so on and so forth, again, which I cover in my program and I cover in those other videos on my channel. Okay, you've got TikTok ads as well, which is a good alternative, especially for a younger demographic and when you have cheaper cheaper items. So you can go ahead and start running these ads. For example, these ones, quite UGC specific. That's what's going to be working on TikTok. You have Google Shopping as well, Google Ads. As you can see, the Bape hoodies. This is what is going to do very well for your fashion brand, clothing brand, when you start running these type of ads, right? You can do your search ads as well, and that's what's going to work on Google, and you can begin making revenue there as well. And you have your organic marketing. Okay, now organic is not what it used to be, but it can still work if you do it correctly and you have very good images and videos that can go viral. And as you can see, Cult G have done a very good job with that. They've got very vibrant images that stands out and actually going to encourage engagement and encourage sales. And then you have your influencer marketing. Now, I like influencer marketing because you can give your products to decently sized influencers for free, right? Because they will love to be a part of your brand. They want to try your product. And then in return, they will create a video for you where they go ahead, try on the product. They go showcase the product to their fans and to other people outside of their fan base. And that is what can produce sales as well. So I recommend that you do influencers as well. And that's something that's going to help you produce sales. So you can also do Klaviyo. I recommend doing email marketing, SMS marketing. Klaviyo is just a platform where you can go ahead and do that. It's the best one out there. And the reason you want to do email marketing is because people will not buy the first time. So if you go ahead and try to market to people who have not heard of your brand before, then what will happen? They will just go ahead and leave the website and not come back. However, if you have a website and you're able to collect emails and phone numbers, you can go ahead and market these people for to the end of time. So it's very important that you have email marketing, SMS marketing as well, right? And that will contribute to an extra 30% of your total revenue. Okay. And also you can have a creative agency. Once you have the budget, you can start hiring creative agencies who will be able to create very good creatives for you and be able to allow you to scale much further with amazing ads and amazing content that you can use on your social media, you can use with ads, you can use on your website, you can use with email marketing as well. And that's what's going to help you propel your brand and make it look more attractive to your target market and allow you to beat your competitors. Okay. And as a result, you can produce very good results like this one where we generated 187,000 for this brand, okay, in a 30-day period, right, with only £13,000 spent, right, with 14x ROI, right? So that's only when all these other steps have been done, okay? So you're not going to be able to do this, right, if you're not able to do all of these steps, right, which I help people to do, okay? But you need to be able to go through all of these steps, right? The training and coaching, right? The business plan, brand identity, creative concepts, seasonality and trends, right? Have a good understanding of that. You need to have the manufacturers, make sure that you're not getting scammed, okay? You need to make sure you do this properly. You need to make sure that you're actually getting high quality products being shipped out to your customers and you're getting them, in a timely manner, okay? And that it's not getting stuck in a ship somewhere on the Atlantic, right? You need to make sure that you have these things sorted out in the best way, okay? Selling online, make sure your website's not a low converting or poor quality, right? You don't need to spend £1,000 on a website, but you do need to make sure that your website actually looks cool, actually looks good, okay? Not like every other dropshipping store that you see, right? That's not going to work anymore. So you need to make sure that you have a very good website, okay? And you want to make sure you have effective marketing as well, because you can spend money on ads and you make zero money, right, if you don't know what you're doing. So you need to have a very good strategy regarding that. That's why you have a marketing plan, which you did in the business plan section, okay? So with all of this combined, right, you're going to be producing these type of results where you're producing $385,000, okay, in a 30-day period, $64,000 in a 30-day period, $70,000 in a 30-day period, okay? It's not too far from you once you do everything you need to be doing, okay? And again, this brand, started out, they weren't making any money, right? They got to this point only because they did all the steps, right? The brand had been going through all of these, okay? They had a brand identity. They have a very vibrant brand identity for their target market. They have a business plan. They have training and coaching, right? They understood the fashion industry, but at the back of their hand. And that's what helped them propel themselves. They have very good creatives. They had understanding seasonalities and trends. Okay, they knew when to stop ads for certain products when it was going out of season. They knew what was trending, so they created products for that, and they started promoting it on social media, and they started making profits. All right, they had the manufacturers sorted out. Again, they were producing products in Bali. Okay, so they were able to get very high quality products, right? And because they were based in Australia, they were able to ship it quite quickly to them. Okay. They were selling online. They had a very good website, okay, very simple to do. The products were listed properly. And then they had the marketing and they were able to market effectively, right, which I helped them out with. And they did everything. They did the Meta ads, which they excelled at, TikTok as well, Google Shopping, social, right, organic social. They use Instagram boosts, right, to get more followers, get people into the brand, get them acquainted with the brand and start buying from them, right? And then they started using influencers, which actually produced quite a bit of money as well, and email marketing. So they did all of these different things, and that's how they're able to produce crazy amounts of money, okay? So that's pretty much what you can go ahead and do. Now, what's the next steps for you, right? Because you just learned all of this information and you're probably confused or you think it's a lot of stuff to do and you don't know where to start still, right? Because a lot of you out there are really at the bottom, right? You started from the bottom, as Rick says, right? you don't know where you need to do, you don't know what you need to be doing, you don't know how to start, maybe you're having problems, right, with something, right, which you need a resolution for, right? You're not at this level where this brand is pretty much printing cash and making over $25,000 a month in profit for themselves, right? You're not at that point. So what do you need to go ahead and do? The next step is you need to DM me on Instagram, okay, and give me information on where your brand is at currently, whether you're just starting out, what problems you're facing, and I'll see if I can help you out, right? Or what you can go ahead and do is book in a call with me, right? Which you can find in the link in the description, and I can go over sort of solutions that I can provide for your brand, whether you're struggling, maybe you're making sales already, but you're having trouble, or maybe you just starting out again and you don't know what you need to be doing, or you're having problems with your product launches, which is not working, or you have problems with suppliers, whatever it may be, right? But you need to reach out to me on Instagram or click the link below to book in a call with me, and I'll pretty much help you out and see where we can go from there. Now, if you're still not convinced or you still want to learn more information about how to do all of this, then you can go ahead and click on the video that you see above in the right hand corner, and that's going to show you how to essentially build a brand in the best way possible that's actually going to stand the test of time. So I'll see you over there.